Blow the whistle, referee, please. Come on, ref, blow the bloody whistle. This is going to kill me. This is actually going to end me. Blow the whistle. Yes! Come on, get in! Chelsea are through to a Champions League semi-final. Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for 6 things that we learned from Chelsea 0, Porto 1. It is the only time you will ever see me, and I promise you this, with a smile on my face because Chelsea have lost the game. I'm not smiling because Chelsea did lose the game. I'm smiling because A, there's flipping half of the wildlife of the world curling around my light right now, but also because we're through to a semi-final of the Champions League. And if that isn't reason enough to subscribe to GBFC if you're new around here and haven't already done so, and make sure you hit the like button on today's video. Let's see if we can hit 10,000 for Chelsea making the semi-final. It was an incredibly nervy last 30 seconds of the game. Porto score probably the goal of the tournament so far with about a minute to go of time on the clock. It was an absolutely astonishing goal, which is kind of testament to not only the fact that we're in a Champions League quarter-finals, so when you're in this kind of competition playing at this stage, you expect these moments of brilliance to come from any team that's left in the competition. But it's also credit to Chelsea that despite a goal like this, winning this game of football, we got that job done in the first leg and we made it so that tonight was going to be as easy as it could have been for us, considering I don't really think we played anywhere close to our best, yet at the end of the 90 minutes we are through to a Champions League semi-final. I'm literally watching the end of the game now. You've got Rudiger shoving everybody around, Azpi's getting frustrated, Tammy Abraham's out there. Everyone's fighting with one another, but it doesn't matter because the main fight tonight was making it to the Champions League semi-final, and that is exactly what Chelsea have gone ahead and done. Now, despite losing the game, I actually think I know it's a stupid thing to say in football, but if you remove that goal, Chelsea did their job tonight almost perfectly well. I think the fact we had that 2-goal lead and Porto did look so poor going forward in that first leg, I think Chelsea made the right decision with sitting back and not really rushing anything. We didn't take any risks in this game, so you could therefore say that because we didn't take any major risks, the most calculated risk that we took was the fact we didn't take any risks. And I start off with box number 1. He came back into the side. There was a lot of questions about whether or not he was going to be fit because of Kovacic's injury in training just the day before the game. N'Golo Kante came back in. And even though I think there were definitely some questions, particularly in that first half, regarding his passing, regarding, some of the movements he was making, it wasn't quite up to the Kante standard that we would expect. However, I think his presence on the field, it was scary for Porto. Every time they got the ball anywhere near the box, every time they tried to make a final pass into the area, N'Golo Kante was there to clean things up, to clear things out for Chelsea. And I think it was a very solid performance today from N'Golo Kante, once again showing that even if he's not 100% fit, or whether he's actually fit enough to fully see out a 90 minutes of football, he is still so important to this Chelsea team. And I think towards the end, his energy was absolutely key in keeping Chelsea ahead of the Porto press, trying to create opportunities. They had 8 attempts tonight, Chelsea's 7, but I think Porto definitely looked a bit more dangerous than we did going forward, and absolute credit for the winning goal in the match. It's not the winning goal in the tie, thank goodness for that, but what an incredible way to win the 90 minutes of football. I think it was Taremi with the goal, and what an overhead kick it is. It was good enough to win any game of football, but it wasn't good enough to beat Chelsea Football Club and knock us out of the Champions League. We move into box number 2, and I think one of the best players on the pitch today for Chelsea has to be Jorginho. I think particularly in the first half, we were really struggling to actually get our game going. There was no real link that I could see between winning the ball back in the defensive third and then progressing it forward to get the likes of Mason Mount, Kai Havertz and Christian Pulisic involved in the game. I think even though we really struggled throughout the entire 90 minutes to actually get our passing rhythm going, the one player who was always there to control the tempo for Chelsea, to make sure that there wasn't these risky passes that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, to make sure that we kept the ball for as long as we possibly could. When we regained possession, Jorginho's play was so intelligent tonight, and I think it's one of those where even people that don't quite understand Jorginho, and I've said it and I've admitted to this in the past, where it's taken me a long time to really warm to Jorginho, other than his penalty taking abilities, which even that this season I feel as though it's balanced completely out for me now, because he's missed a couple of penalties, but then I've also seen just how good he can be as a footballer. And I think tonight we saw, I'm not sure if it was a man of the match performance, because I think a Porto player would probably get the man of the match in the 90 minutes because Porto won the game. But for Chelsea, and doing the job that they needed to do, Jorginho was absolutely fantastic. And I think during that first half in particular, where we needed some level heads, we needed some experienced heads to really see the job done for Chelsea. You know, we're a very young team, we're a very inexperienced side when it comes to the latter parts of this Champions League competition, you know, minus Thiago Silva and Olivier Giroud comes on for a 1-minute cameo, which I think is a little bit unfair considering all he's done to get us to this spot in the first place, but that is what it is. That's another conversation for another day. I thought Jorginho was excellent. I thought he brought a very measured, calculated approach to Chelsea's play, and even though we lost the match on the night, I'm kind of analysing what I've seen based off of using that first 90 minutes we saw with the victory in the away leg, and then how we contained everything and managed everything so well up until that one moment of pure brilliance in the 93rd minute of the game, which was good enough to win any game. And you put your hands up and say, this is the Champions League. This is the biggest, the best competition of them all. Things like that are going to happen once in a while. And luckily, it happened to Chelsea when we'd already scored 2 and we're into the last 4 of the Champions League. It is absolutely bloody brilliant. But we move into box number 3, and I've given it to Thiago Silva today. I thought he was absolutely massive at the back. There were a couple of times where he made some big blocks, deflected the ball over the crossbar. And again, I think in a match like this where, again, I bring it back, super young team, we need those experienced heads. We need those captains in the side. You know, Azpilicueta's a wonderful captain, but he's not really the most vocal. He's not really the most commanding. And having Thiago Silva back in that side today, you see him pulling up with cramp with 10 minutes to go. I was getting a bit worried then when I saw that. But I think Thiago Silva's influence today would have been absolutely massive on what was a very solid Chelsea defensive display. I know some of you might be thinking, like, Benson, are you off your bloody rocker? We just lost the game of football. But what these 2 matches are in knockout football, it's how you manage the tie from minute 0 to minute 180, trying to avoid extra time, particularly if you go ahead. And that overhead kick was absolutely sensational. So I think in terms of the management of the game and the defensive management and structure that Thiago Silva brought to the team, I thought he was absolutely massive for us tonight. We move into box number 4, and it is another defender, and it is someone I want to give a lot of praise to today. It's Reece James. I thought Reece James was fantastic. I was a little bit worried when I looked at the lineup. It was exactly pretty much what I said it was going to be, apart from Jorginho came in for Kovacic because of Kovacic's unforeseen injury. And I thought Reece James tonight did everything he could have done defensively. You could look at the goal and say, well, Reece James is the closest to the player who scores the overhead kick. He should do better. But again, I repeat myself over and over again here, and I feel like it's because I keep smiling, even though Chelsea lost. But Reece James doesn't know he's going to start flying through the air as if he's on his way to Mars with Elon Musk. Reece James isn't aware of that, and it's a moment of absolute brilliance. However, he should have done better for that moment, but I think overall, across the 90 minutes in a Champions League quarter-final, I think Reece James did an incredible job. We move into box number 5, and I've given a yellow box because I feel as though the amount of chances we created in this game just wasn't good enough. I think if we're going to come up against a better opponent in the semis, be it Real Madrid or Liverpool. The winner of that tie tomorrow night will play Chelsea in the semi-final of the Champions League. I'm so flipping buzzing with this. But we didn't create anywhere near enough tonight. Even though the game plan was to go out there and hold on to the lead that we had. And realistically, until the 93rd minute, Porto didn't actually create that many chances to really worry Chelsea, to mean that we'd have to go forward and chase the game. I think that the main issue we had tonight, and again, I could have made it about Mateo Kovacic here, even though I thought Kante and Jorginho were brilliant, I think in terms of the shape of the team tonight, I feel as though Pulisic and Havertz were a little bit lost. I think Pulisic really did get into the game as much as he could, and he was really chasing things and fighting the ball down every time he lost it, or every time he was closest to the ball. I think Pulisic's chasing down was very good. But I think Havertz was a little bit lost, and I think that the fact we didn't create so many chances, if Porto would have scored a goal like that a little bit earlier in the game, I was really struggling to see where a goal for Chelsea would have came from this evening. We didn't really have any chances, to be honest. We had 7 attempts, Porto had 8. But on the balance of things, I felt a lot more nervous when Porto were attacking, and I never really felt as though Chelsea got into their rhythm when it came to that attacking. We missed Mateo Kovacic's industry, but credit to Kante and Jorginho. But we move into box number 6, and it is about expectations. I talk about expectations here on the GBFC channel very frequently, and this absolutely bypasses any expectations I had of this Chelsea team at the beginning of this season. When you bring it back, we started the season, Frank Lampard as manager, super young side, lots of new signings, and now it's not even a dream, it is real life. Chelsea Football Club are in a Champions League semi-final for the first time since 2014, an opportunity to make it to our 3rd Champions League final. And Real Madrid and Liverpool, I said it when the draw was made, Porto was the nicest draw. We scraped through 2-1, but we were a lot more confident than 2-1. Let's be real about that. Real Madrid or Liverpool is in our wake, and I think neither one of those sides are going to be happy that Chelsea qualified tonight. I think they're going to be worried, and I absolutely back us now to go into that semi-final, get the job done, and make it, I can't believe I'm saying this, to a Champions League final. Absolutely over the moon. We've lost the match 1-0. This has been 6 things we learned from Chelsea 0, Porto 1. But you guys have seen the monopoly of grins on my face throughout this entire video. Thank you guys for watching. As I said at the beginning, subscribe to GBFC if you are new. Let me know the 6 things that you learned in the comments down below. And I'll catch you all tomorrow for a brand new video. Get in. Come on, you Blues.